Hey guys, it's your main man Mike from EAKCrewProductions, and I was playing some DN, and I was playing Mermails, and I kept realizing that people were using their Abyss Dwellers like incorrectly, and it was just driving me nuts because they were using them like they were just making it so easy to wait their Abyss Dweller out and then come back and destroy them. So I wanted to talk about Abyss Dweller since yesterday I was talking about ways to hurt Mermail Atlanteans, and Abyss Dweller is one of the best cards to hurt Mermails. So I figured I'd talk about it and how you should use it against the deck and really in general so that you can get the most out of your Dweller. So first off, this is just going to be a generic situation in general. When you use a Dweller against your opponent, you want to be able to use it in a phase where your opponent cannot effect Veiler you, because Abyss Dweller is a quick effect. So you can either use it in the draw phase, which I really don't like. I don't like that at all. But you can use it there, or you can use it in the battle phase, which I think is much better of an area to use your Abyss Dweller. But now let's get into how you use it really against Mermail Atlanteans, by the way. So up here, you'll see that I have the different cards in Mermail Atlanteans that dump them, and I'm pretty much going to go over why, because I see a lot of people use Abyss Dweller in the draw phase or the standby phase against Mermails when I'm playing them, and that's terrible, like really, really terrible, and I'm going to show you why it's so bad. So the discard outlets that Mermails have so that you can get the effects are pretty much Mermail Megalo, Abystus, Pike, of a lead, and of course Linde. Linde's not really a discard, but it's an effect that activates in the graveyard. So the other, okay, so I guess she's kind of more in the other category, but so the other category would be cards that activate in the graveyard, really. So she's in the other category, but Linde, Gunde, however you want to say that, Dragoons, Infantry, and Marksman. So these five right here activate in the grave. Well, these four are pretty much the monsters in the deck that are going to be ditching these guys and sending them to the grave so that you can get the effect. So it's these guys that you want to negate with your Abyss Dweller. And the reason why it's terrible to activate Abyss Dweller in your draw phase is because your opponent no longer has to discard their card. As if they show you that they have a Megalo, they reveal Megalo and they disc 2, there is a response to Megalo's effect. And what you want to do is, now that they've disc 2, so they go like, you want to not use it because it'll force them to do nothing at all, and you get to keep your Dweller, or you force them to neg 2. Because let's say they have the Megalo and they go, okay, I'm going to drop Dragoons and Infantry, reveal Megalo, because it's a cost. So they're already in there, but they haven't actually activated yet. So chaining to the effect, you now chain your Dweller, and it's their main phase, so they can't effect Veiler you. And now their Megalo summons itself, and the chain of him getting Abyss Sphere or whatever Abyss card he wants, and the 2 in the graveyard would activate. But because you've used Dweller, all he gets is the search for the Spell or Trap Abyss card, while the Dragoons and the Infantry that he discarded are completely dead. So essentially he goes with neg 1, I guess, since he still gets the search for Abyss Sphere, but you can't really stop that. And that's fantastic. That's a much better way, and it's something you never would have got to do if you had just discarded during draw phase. Like, he probably would have just been like, well, I guess I just won't, do this, and he tried to work around your Dweller some other way. I mean, Abystus, he discards one of those guys, and then he special summons himself. It's through an effect. So, because it's through an effect, Chain Dweller, he's going to be able to search for the Mermail, but whatever he discarded doesn't get its effect. Same thing, well, it's not exactly the same thing with Pike, but Pike discards it, and then he does his effect. The Atlantean that activates in the graveyard is on a completely different chain than him. So what you can do is when the Abyss Spike activates, you just, because he's going to discard as a cost, so you get to see what he discards too. So you can decide whether or not you want to Dweller. He discards something that doesn't have an effect, don't Dweller. He discards something that does have an effect, now you Dweller. He gets to add the card off of the spike, but let's say he ditched the Dragoons. That Dragoons chain will now try to activate, but it can't because you Dwellered that turn. Lead, pretty much the same thing with Megalo. Alright, so now the thing with Linde though is Linde, I mean, like I referenced Linde in both classes because she's really a class of her own. She's the recruiter that gets destroyed while face down. So if you think your opponent has a Linde, what you want to do is enter battle phase, and then you detach and attack. And that's how you do it with a Linde, because you want to go into battle phase so that you don't get effect failured. But anyways, yeah, so that's how you use Abyss Dweller properly. Please do not use it in the draw phase. That is a terrible rookie mistake. All of these guys pretty much use all of these guys you will have your chance to chain Dweller to make them go neg. And in the meantime, if they decide just not to do anything because you have Dweller on the board, that's fine for you, because then you just get to keep your Dweller around longer, attacking them constantly. So, anyways, that's Mike from EAK Crew Productions. I'll see you guys later. And I got some more Mermail Atlantean hate stuff coming. So, peace. It's your main man, Mike. Subscribe.